Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, it's David here and welcome back to another video. Needless to say that I'm very excited today because Persona 3 Reload launched and I have been playing the game for almost 10 hours at this point. That's right, I'm home alone this weekend, so I have nothing else to do, which is a good thing. I received my collector's edition, my IGES edition of Reload yesterday around lunchtime. And I played it for a very long time after work, and I have a lot to say about it. So here are my official first impressions of Persona 3 Reload after about 10 hours of gameplay or so, I would say. So there's a lot that I have not seen, most likely over 80 hours of content that I haven't seen or so. So take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. My opinions on these topics can change, but I still wanted to get my thoughts out there since I was not able to play the game earlier than most of you guys. I don't have an in-depth review, sadly, but still, my thoughts are as follows. But before we get into the swing of things, I was provided with a North American Steam key for Persona 3 Reload standard version, so if you'd like to win that Steam key, make sure to drop a comment telling me you would like to win the North American Steam key for Persona 3 Reload. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you will get a chance to win the Steam key. I'm giving it away tomorrow, so make sure your notifications are active as well because I will be commenting on your comment if you are the winner. Could be on X as well because I have people on there as well, so it will be randomly picked. And yeah, good luck. So when it comes to the gameplay of Persona 3 Reload, obviously a lot of stuff was changed, right, with this remake of Persona 3, and they're remaking the original P3. And I'm just looking at the game in general, and I have to say it's the pure blast to play. The day-to-day gameplay, the calendar system from Persona 3 is pretty much left untouched, and that includes, again, the calendar system, the social stats that are pretty much the same, and also the social links, at least for the ones that I experienced. But what's great about the social links is now they are way more voice acting in these social links, which really helps for some of the ones that were not necessarily as good, in my opinion, in the original games. So for now, I'm into it. Plus, we'll talk about the visuals in a sec, but you have great environments and great character models to look at during the social links, which is more entertaining than, let's say, in Portable, where it was a stick portrait, right? There is one thing that I think is actually very, very improved, and that is Tartarus. So I've spent, obviously, a lot of time in Tartarus already, and there is a new gameplay element that is associated to your day-to-day gameplay, but also to Tartarus. It links the two together, and it's the ability to collect Twilight fragments. So basically, you can find Twilight fragments around town, around your school, and sometimes even the Velvet Room attendant will give you some Twilight fragments, and those are really cool. They changed something in terms of gameplay when you're in Tartarus, because when you're at the reception hall for Tartarus, you can exchange Twilight fragments to regain HP or to regain SP, which is really dope. Or, even better, you get to find very rare, well, not that rare to be honest, but special chests in Tartarus, and those can only be unlocked using Twilight fragments. There is still your regular chest, but when it comes to those special chests that you can unlock with Twilight fragments, there is some good stuff in there, so you can definitely look forward to collecting those, potentially to gain new equipment or sell them during your playthrough. So it just made Tartarus more diverse and more fun for me. Another thing that is good is something that was simply taken off of the previous versions of Persona 3, and that's the fatigue system. So in these games before, your characters could simply become fatigued at a random point, they become ill, and they're not really usable anymore. That means you're obligated to go back to the entrance. I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it feel like an original experience. Your characters get tired during the dark hour, and they wanted to replicate that in your gameplay. But it was simply not fun to me, so I'm glad this is gone. Now you can explore Tartarus as much as you want. I spent like almost climbed to 15 or so in one go, so it's really fun to just rush through, kind of like to rush through a dungeon in 4 or a palace in 5. Now, interestingly enough, the combat has changed a little bit. It is still a super fast-paced turn-back combat system with the once more features, and it is very, very good looking. Again, we'll talk about the visuals again, but when I went in combat for the first time, it really, really impressed me. Very impressive stuff. It looks good. The animations are crazy crisp. Very dope. They added a new system in the game, which is something that you'll definitely recognize if you played Persona 5, because it's basically the baton pass system in Persona 5. It is now called a shift system, so when you attack, you exploit a weakness, you get your once more, so you get to play more, you get to play again if you want, or you can shift your turn to another party member, which really helps to pump out those all-out attacks. So let's say I'm equipped with an Agi spell on Junpei, I hit a weakness, boom, shift to Makoto, hit with Bufu, another weakness of another character, and then I shift to Yukari with a Garu attack, for example. Really, really dope. Then you get to perform your all-out attack, which look extremely sexy. Let me just say that. Another thing that has changed for the best, in my opinion, is the shuffle time. After you're done with combat, you get to pick a reward. Now the shuffle time has been changed to a system that is more similar to a game like Persona 4 Golden. And again, a good thing, something that works really, really well. But otherwise, the combat is what you all know and love. I have to say, around 10 hours in, playing on normal, game has been insanely easy. Well, very, very easy. I have not died 10 hours in, which can be normal. I mean, I'm early game. The bosses that I fought were super simple. But I remember the early hours of Persona 3 being very hard. So if you're an older fan and you like a big challenge, I would straight up go for hard mode or even merciless mode, which is even harder. That is an option for you. But for now, I'm happy with normal. Just know that it's fairly easy. Now, when it comes to the visuals and performance, obviously I mentioned it a little bit. I'm playing on my PlayStation 5, full 4K 60 frames per second. It is just incredibly gorgeous, and frankly, it's just fun to look at no matter what you're doing in the game. You're in the menus, fucking awesome. You're in combat, looks amazing. You're exploring towns, it feels nostalgic to explore these areas again, but in glorious HD. And I played more portable in my life than I played FES, so it's kind of new in a way to me, which is really, really awesome. The anime cutscenes are extremely impressive looking. Like, oh my god, they look so great. They looked great back in the day, but now it's on a whole nother level, and it can stand right next to P5. Again, the anime cutscenes really reminded me of the ones in Persona 5, and that is a very good thing because those are praised on a daily basis at this point. Now, I have to be transparent and honest with you guys. When talking about the cutscenes, there is one important scene in the game that kind of underwhelmed me a little bit, if I'm being honest. It didn't feel as impactful as it was supposed to be because it's an important moment, and that is the Orpheus awakening. So when Makoto awakens his persona early game, not a bad scene, but I don't know, we saw it in trailers, but I was looking at it on my screen and I was like, yeah, it's definitely not as impactful as previous awakenings, which is a little bummer, but again, not the end of the world. I said it before, but exploring the same old places that we all know and love in glorious 4K is just insane. The models look so crisp, like trying to get a Jack Frost at the mall and everything looking around you. It's so good. And again, I briefly mentioned it, but the first time that a battle hits, it really hit me, like with how smooth it looks and how great the UI is. The menus and UIs, I gotta say, P Studios never miss. They have the best UIs in gaming. Let me just say that. It's very impressive stuff with Reload. And again, even if you look at a small game like, let's say, a Persona 5 Tactica, which just came out, small little spin-off title, which is already, they're giving it away at this point. It really dropped in price quickly, and even that game has a fantastic menu system. Same thing for Reload. One thing that is, well, one element of Reload that exceeded my expectations has to be the soundtrack. The soundtrack in Persona 3 wasn't my favorite. There is some very solid tracks, but I strongly prefer Persona 5 or Persona 4, even Persona 2, I'd say. The PlayStation 1 version of Persona 1 as well, so it is in the lower tier when it comes to Persona 3, and that's strange. I'm a big hip-hop fan in general, so that's not the issue. It's just, I don't know, not as good as other games. That being said, the remixes of the old tracks for now have been very impressive. Some of the new tracks that I've heard are also bangers. And when I play the game, I play it with the volume at a high level. It is really solid, and I'm intrigued to, maybe I could do a tier list of Persona soundtracks in the future, because I definitely think Persona 3 Reload would have a very different spot than previous Persona 3 entries. I 1000% need to mention the voice acting job because again, with Persona 3 Reload, Atlus completely recasted all of the characters, and I gotta say, the new voice actors exceeded my expectations. We saw them in panels at Anime Expo doing certain lines and everything, but that's different than actually hearing dialogue. And oh my god, there are so many good voice actors on that cast. They're doing a fantastic job, and those are characters that we've been hearing their lines for 15 years at this point, even more than that. So it's very impressive that they're able to be these characters and to feel like these characters. I have a big preference for Mitsuru simply because I like the character, and I think Allegra Clark did a fantastic job with Mitsuru. I'm a little bit hesitant on Hakihiko for now, but still not a bad voice acting job. He's just my least favorite when it comes to the main cast for now. And again, I want to shout out the social links that are now voiced. It makes a huge difference, let me just say that. So in conclusion, Persona 3 Reload to me is definitely a game to recommend. It is a fantastic version of Persona 3. I'm already ready to say I don't really feel the need to go back to the other Persona 3 releases for now. I'm fully content with Reload. I'm glad the game is out, and I'll be transparent. I was someone who said we didn't need a Persona 3 Reload, and I still stand by that. I don't think we needed that game, but it's good to have it. I'm glad to have it, and I'm glad I'm playing it day one because it is a good game. And I want to say for newcomers, if you're listening to this video of mine thinking, what is Persona 3 Reload for someone who's new to Persona? It is a fantastic entry point. Persona 3 FES, Persona 3 Portable were not good entry points in the series in my opinion. Reload, just like Persona 4 Golden and Persona 5, it is a fantastic entry point. It has a great tutorial, which is around 2 hours or so, a little bit long, but it is a fantastic entry point. So please jump in and welcome to the Persona community. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really do appreciate. Thank you for your patience as well. I'm sorry I was not able to provide a full review earlier. That is out of my control. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Bye.